Hello guys, welcome back to the web technologies course. Topic we'll talk about the life cycle of servlet. So how that particular servlet is executing in our web container, how that particular servlet is executing, what is the procedure, and how the program is executing from the server side to the client side. So all those things we'll see in today's session. So first we'll start with the servlet architecture. In this particular servlet architecture, first we are having the client browser. Client is there. So here this client is nothing but our computer. A client is nothing but our web browser. So we are opening the Google site www.google.com. So immediately what we are getting the one search box. After that we are having the one button is there. So we are saying that is called a static page. So whatever your content you are typing there, so once content typing is done, so what you are doing, you are immediately clicking on the search button. After that immediately you are getting the so many links. So whatever the content you are typing there, that content related information will be available. That content related information will be available in that particular web page. How you are getting that particular information? You are getting that particular information from the server. You are retrieving that information from the server, and your browser takes that information, and that information will be displayed in your browser. First we are having this is called the client side. This is the client mission. In client mission, what we are doing, we are opening the web browser. After that we are having the server side is there. So server is there. This is called the server. So here what we are doing, so first we are creating a one request in the form of the HTTP. Okay, so we are creating a one request in the form of the HTTP, and we are sending that particular request to the web server. Web server will take that particular request, and it will validate whether the request is valid or not. If the request is valid, it will go for the further steps. If request is invalid, it will discard that packet. It will discard that particular requested information there itself. If the request is valid, the web server will pass that particular HTTP request to the web container. Okay, it will pass that particular information, that particular request to the web container. Web container will take that particular request, and it will map to the requested resource or requested servlet. Okay, if the servlet is available in this particular web container, it will map to that particular servlet, and it will create a one response object, and it will forward that particular response object to the web container. Web container will take that particular response object, and it will forward to the web server. Okay, it will forward to the web server. Whenever the web server gets the response from the servlet, it will take that particular response, and it will create one HTTP response. Okay, it will create one HTTP response, and it will forward that particular response to the requested client. Okay, it will forward that particular response to the requested client. So here what we are doing here is, so we are having the client mission. So this client mission is nothing but our browser. Clear? So browser nothing but you are having the Google Chrome is there, and Mozilla is there, and Safari is there. Okay, so these are the web browsers. With the help of these particular web browsers only, so we are accessing the internet, or we are accessing the google.com, we are accessing the yahoo.com, or we are accessing the facebook.com. Okay, now what is the background procedure, what the procedure is going in the background. Okay, so here, so first what we are doing here, first we are creating a one request here. Just we are opening google.com. So in that particular google.com, we are having the search box. Is in that particular search box, we are typing our query. Whatever the query you want, you are typing your query there. Once your query typing is over, so what you are doing, immediately you are clicking on your button. You are clicking on the search button. So what that particular search button will do, it will create one request. That request will be forwarded to your web browser. Web browser will take that particular request, and it will pass that particular request to the web container. Web container will map that particular request to the particular servlet. Okay, request to that particular servlet. Okay, so here you are requesting for some kind of streaming information. It will map to that streaming servlet. Okay, it will map to the streaming servlet or it map to the requested object servlet here. Okay, once your requested servlet object is identified, it will create a one response. Immediately it will create a one response object, and that particular response object is forwarded to the web server through the web container. We are forwarding that particular response object to the web server through the web container. Whenever the request is reached to the web container, it will create a HTTP response, or it will create a response object, and it will forward that particular response object to the requested client. Okay, it will forward that particular response object to the requested client. Whenever that particular client receives the response from that particular requested server, it will open that particular information, and it will display that particular information in a requested client browser. Okay, so that is the procedure is going in a servlet. Okay, so this is the entire servlet architecture. First, what we are doing, first we are creating a one request, and we are forwarding that created request to the web server. Okay, we are forwarding the request to the web server having the web container will map that particular requested object to the particular resource. Okay, it will map that particular requested object to the resource. If the resource is available, it will create that particular response. If the resource is not available, simply it will throw an exception though resource is not available. Okay, so it will map to that particular resource, and it will create a one response, and that response will be forwarded to your web browser through web container. After that, it will be forwarded to the web server. After that only it will forward it to the web client. Okay, so in client, how you are getting the request? If you are getting the request HTTP, it will create a HTTP response. Okay, it will create a HTTP response, and it will forward to your requested clients. Okay, so this is about the servlet architecture. Now we'll talk about the how this particular servlet is executing the program. Okay, how the particular servlet is executing, and we see the execution of the servlet. So first we'll see. Okay, so first what we are having, we are having the client is there. So here what we are doing, so we are creating a one request here we are creating one request, and we are forwarding that particular request to the server. So client is there, so with the help of the client, what we are doing, we are creating a one request here, and we are forwarding that particular request to the server. So whenever the server is receiving that particular request, what is the job of the server? It will receive the request from the client, and it will process that particular request, and it will forward that particular request to the requested client. That is the process, or that is the job of the server. Okay, now what we are doing, now we are creating a one request. Once your request creation is done, so what you are doing, you are forwarding that particular information to the server. So before that, how you are communicating your server, how you are communicating with your server? So we are communicating to the server with the help of the socket programming here. Okay, with the help of the socket programming, we are establishing one virtual connection between the server and the client mission. With the help of the socket programming, what we are doing here, we are creating one virtual connection. with the help of the sockets. Okay, after that, what we are doing, after that we are creating a one request form. In that particular request form, so we are having the two parts are there. First one is a header part, and second one is a body part is there. Okay, so first one is a header part, and second one is a body part is there. What this particular header part contains? What are the techniques you are using for the communication, whether you are using the HTTP protocol or any other protocol you are using. Okay, and one more thing is, what is the authentic protocols you are using, and what is the zipping functionalities you are using. All those head related information is available in your header part. Okay, in this particular body part only, your client requested information is available. Okay, in this particular body part only, whatever the client is requesting, that information is available in this particular body part. Okay, once the request form is created from the client side, that particular request is passed, that particular request is forwarded to the server with the help of this particular connection only. Whenever this particular request is reached your server side, server will validate the particular particular request. Okay, server will validate that particular request and what contains this particular server. So here this particular server contains one server. This is a server. Inside that particular server we are having the applications. Okay, so this is the server. Once you have created a request, that request will be forwarded to the server. Okay, now we'll see the what is the functionalities are available in this particular server. So in this particular server, so we are having the application where first whatever the request you are forwarding, that related context object will be created in your server. Okay, that particular context object or nothing but a servlet context will be created inside your server. After that, so we are having that particular requested application folder is available. That particular request application folder is available. Inside that particular application, we are having the web INF folder is there. In web INF folder, so we are having the web.xml and classes files are there. Okay, means what here? So we are having the one server is there. Inside that server, so what we are doing, whenever the client is requesting for one object, so immediately your server will create one servlet context object. After that it will take that particular request. Now what are the components are available in your server? So in previous session we are talking about the Coyote, right? So Coyote act as a web container. Okay, so Coyote act as a web container. In our server also we are maintaining the web container. Inside that web container, what we are having? So we are having the your logic, your application logic, everything is available here. Okay, your logic, your application logic, everything is available. So here we are talking about only the one application, right? So one application folder is available. Inside that one application we are having the web INF information. Is web INF folder is there. Inside that web INF, so we are having the descriptor also is there. Descriptor folder and your servlet classes also available. Okay, for that we are maintaining the two folders. Okay, first one is a descriptor file. Your descriptor file is available. After that we are maintaining the servlet classes. Okay, we are maintaining the servlet classes available in another folder. Okay, so here you are in your web.xml file, in your web.descriptor file. So what will have, what are the information is available in your web.xml file? Your servlets are available, servlet name is there, and URL pattern is available. How you are mapping your URL pattern. Okay, how your client is accessing that particular web page, that information is available. Okay, that path information is available in your URL. Okay, that mapping information is available. After that we are having the class folder is there. Inside this particular class folder we are having we are maintaining all servlet classes here. Clear? We are maintaining all our servlet classes. Okay, so next what we are doing here, whenever the requested packet is reached your server will validate that particular packet. Okay, so what you are doing here, so we are designing, what we are doing here, first we are having the client mission and we are having the server mission. What we are doing, we are creating one request form. And we are forwarding that request form to the server with the help of some packet, right? So with the help of some packet, right? So here the packet will create one connection. Here we are having not packet. So here one connection, one virtual connection will be created. Okay, one virtual connection will be created. With the help of the socket communication, we are creating one virtual connection. So in that particular virtual connection, so we are forwarding our packet to the server. That server will take that particular packet and it will validate that particular packet, whether it is a valid packet or not. In this packet, how many parts are there? We are having the two parts are there. First one is the header part and second one is the body part. It will validate. If the packet is valid, it will map to the URL pattern, whether the URL is correct or not. Okay, whether the URL is correct or not. If the URL is correct, it will map to your servlet name, it will map to your servlet name. If the servlet name also mapping in your web.xml file or in your descriptor file, what it will do, it will map to the your servlet class. It will map to the your servlet class. This entire functionality is done by your container only. We are doing this entire functionality inside the container. That container is available in your web browser, or we can say that this is called the web container, or we can say this is called the web container. Or we can say this is called the web container. In this particular container only we are doing once here. So here what we are doing here, validating our request form, or we are validating our protocol, and once the validation is done, we are mapping the URL, we are mapping that particular URL, and mapping also done here. So here what we are doing, so we are going to the servlet name. So now servlet name also okay, no problem with the servlet name. And what we are doing, we are mapping the servlet name, we are mapping this particular servlet to the class folder. So in this particular class folder only we are having all our servlet classes. Okay, all our servlet classes. Now what will happen, now our container will take, now our container will take this particular .class file or this particular bytecode, and it will load into the memory, and it will load into the memory. Before loading, first it will verify, before loading that particular bytecode into the memory. So first what it will do, first it will verify that already that servlet is already available in the memory or not. If the servlet is already available, it will make use of it. If the servlet is not available in the memory, it will create one object. First, not object, first it will load one servlet there. First it will load one servlet. See, so here servlet is there. So servlet is mapping to the, okay, so servlet is there. So once your URL pattern is mapping is done, so here we are going to the servlet. So we are mapping that servlet to the servlet class name, servlet class file. That servlet classes are available in our class folder. Okay, once the mapping is done, now what we are doing, now we are taking this particular .class file and we are taking this particular bytecode and we are loading into the memory. Okay, before loading what it will do, it will verify whether that particular .class file is available in the memory or not. Okay, if the .class file is not available, it will start loading the server. It will start loading the server, or it will load the servlet into the memory. It will load the servlet into the memory. If the servlet is not available, it will load the memory. It will load the servlet into the memory. If the servlet is available, it will make use of that particular servlet. It will make use of that particular servlet, right? So now once the servlet loading is done, now what we are doing? Now we are instantiating this particular servlet. Now what we are doing here? Now we are instantiating this particular servlet. Okay, we are instantiating this particular servlet. In this particular servlet instantiation, we are having the different types of methods are there. Okay, different types of methods are there. The first one is the do post method. Second one is the do get method. Next we are having the do delete method is there. Do delete method, and so many methods are available in this particular servlet instantiation. Okay, so first what we are doing, so first we are loading that particular servlet into the memory if the servlet is not available. Once the servlet loading is done, so what we are doing, we are making, or we are doing the instantiation. We are doing the first we have to load the servlet into the memory. Once the servlet loading is done, so what we are doing here, we are creating a server. Once the servlet loading is done, now what we are doing, we are doing the servlet instantiation. In that particular servlet instantiation, we are having the different kinds of methods are there. Okay, so those are nothing but your do post method, do get method, and also you are having the do delete method. Okay, different types of methods are available in this particular instantiation. So based on the client request only, we are using that particular method. Based on the client request only, we are using that particular method. That point only we are using the methods. So next what we are doing here is, now what we are doing here, now once the instantiation is done, now we have to initialize that particular servlet. Okay, so we have to initialize that particular servlet, clear? So for initializing that particular servlet, so we are using the servlet config. Okay, for initializing that particular servlet. So here what we are doing, so for that we are using the servlet config we are using servlet config object. Clear? So here what we are doing, first we are loading the servlet. Once the servlet loading is done, so we are going for the servlet instantiation. Once the servlet instantiation is done, means what, we are selecting the suitable method. Once the servlet instantiation creation is done, so what we are doing, we are initializing that particular object. Okay, we are initializing that particular object. For initializing that what we are doing, so for initializing the servlet, so what we are doing here, we are using the servlet configuration object. With the help of this particular servlet configuration object, so here we are configuring that particular servlet. Okay, we are configuring that particular servlet. Once the configuration is done, so and we are making use of that particular servlet. Okay, so here initialization we are having the two methods are there. So first one is the servlet configuration method. So servlet configuration, so for initialization we are passing the servlet configuration as an object. Okay, we are initialization. Okay, means what here, so we are initializing that particular servlet. Once the initialization is over, now what we have to do, now we have to run that particular servlet, right? For that we are calling the one more method called the init method. Okay, clear? So one more method is called the init method. Means what, here we are calling the two initialization methods here. First initialization method is used for the configuring that particular servlet. Second initialization method we are using for the running of that particular servlet. Okay, once your configuration is done, so we are calling the init method, and that with the help of that particular init method, what we are doing here, we are executing our program or we are executing our servlet. Clear? It is similar to your applet. The init method is similar to your applet. Clear? Means what, here in life cycle of the applet, in life cycle of this particular servlet, the initialization method will be called only the one time only. Okay, it will call only the one time. In that particular one time only, we have to configure the servlet, and whatever the request parameter you want, all those things will be configured here. Okay, once the initialization is done, so now what we are doing, now we are selecting the which method you want to use, whether you want to use the do post method or whether you want to use the do get method. Okay, and we can say these are called the service methods. These are called the service method, or what is that service? So the particular client is requesting for some service, So here what we are doing, we are taking that particular information and we are initializing that particular object. Once the initialization is done, your one thread will be created here. One thread will be created, and that information is passed to your container. So that thread will use any method. It can use a do post method or do get method. Just your thread will be created. Okay, your thread will be created in your servlet instantiation. Okay, once the servlet instantiation is done, so what we are doing is we are going for the service. We are executing the service method. Clear? In our service method, what we are doing, we are having the two objects are there. First one is a request object and second one is a response object. We are having the two kinds of objects are there. So first one is a request object and second one is a response objects are there. Okay, so in our request object we are having the three parameters. So first one is the request header, second one is a request parameter, and third one is a request attributes. Okay, so in this particular request header we are having the in particular request header we are maintaining, or we are having all header information, whatever the client is passing the information through the header, that information we can read here. Okay, so next parameter, request parameter. This request parameter is nothing but, so what kind of resource or what the information the user is requesting to the server, that information is available, or we can say that the user related information, the user requested information is available here in our request parameter. And if you want to make any dynamic content, okay, if you want to make any dynamic content, so if you want to pass that particular dynamic content to your requested client, so for that what we are having, we are using the request attributes. Okay, request attributes. In request parameter, so just your client is sending some request, he is requesting some request or is requesting some resource, that information is available in your request parameter. And if you are executing some dynamic environment, or if you are doing some any dynamic allocation of the resource, that information, that kind of related information is available in our attributes. Okay, request attribute. In this particular request attribute, we are maintaining the dynamic content. Okay, we are maintaining the dynamic content. And next one is once your request creation, once your request is done, so what you are doing here, you are opening that particular request and you are reading all these parameters. Once the reading is done, means what, here you are providing the service. Okay, you are providing the service here, right, in that particular service method. So what you are doing, we are having the two objects are there. First one is a response object and second one is a request object is there. Okay, in that particular request object, what we are doing, whatever the request is sending to the server, so we are opening that particular request and we are processing that particular request. Clear? How you are processing that particular request, which method you are processing that particular request? Already we created one thread here, right? In instantiation we created one thread. Clear? Or that may be the do method, or that may be the do post method, any method may be. Okay, now what we are doing, now we are starting the executing that particular method. We are starting the execution of that particular method. After that, what we are doing, once the starting is done, once our execution is done, we are creating a response. Okay, from this only you are getting the response to your service method. Okay, once your response is created, so what we are doing here, now we are passing this particular response to the server. We are passing that particular response to the server. So server will take that particular response. And it will create a response form. And this response form will be delivered at the client side, requested client. The response is delivered at the requested client. Now the requested clients, once the response is delivered, what your web container will do, so your web container will immediately close your communication. Okay, immediately close your communication with that particular client. It immediately will close the virtual connection between the client and the server. Once the connection is closed, your service method will be destroyed. Okay, your service method will be destroyed. Once the service method is destroyed, and your initialization, servlet configuration also will be destroyed or deleted, and your do method instantiation also will be deleted, and your servlet loading. So what it will do, it will unload the server, it will unload the servlet from the memory. Means what, it is deleting that particular servlet information from the memory. Once the deletion is done, all this information is passing to the container only. All this information is passing to the container. Whenever the container is receiving all those information, so based on that information only, that container will take the forward step. Okay, once your all requests are deleted, once your response is created, when the response is delivered at the client mission side, all your service method and initialization and your servlet loading and your servlet instantiation all will be deleted, or we can say all methods will be destroyed from the memory. Okay, and also your servlet context object will be deleted, and also your servlet context object also will be deleted. What this particular servlet context will contain? This particular servlet context will contain some information about the context, about the requested web page. So each and every web page, it will create one context servlet. It will create one servlet context. In that particular servlet context only, we are having the all information. From the servlet context only, we are accessing all these information in our execution environment. Okay, this particular servlet context object contain the information. Okay, from that object only we are getting the information, and we are executing all these process. Clear? And that particular, once all thing is done, then after that only your servlet context will be deleted. Okay, so means what? Once your request is delivered at your client mission side, all these things, all these path information, everything will be destroyed by the container. Okay, destroyed by the container. Here, so first our client is there. So this is the client mission. So what client is doing? Client is requesting some requesting. So means what? Here we are creating one request. That request contains the two parts. First one is the header part, second one is the body part. Okay, after that request will be delivered at the server mission. The request will be delivered at the server side. This is a server side mission, or we can say this is a server. Or we can say this is a server. This is a server. In that particular server, we are having the web container. Inside the server, we are having the web container. So whenever you are getting the request from the client mission, so it will take that particular client. This is called the web. Whenever you are getting the request from the client mission, immediately it will create one servlet context. One servlet context object will be created. Servlet context object will be created. In this particular servlet context object, we are having the user information and header information are available. Okay, once your request is delivered at the server side, it will validate whether the request is good or not. Okay, whether the protocol is a good protocol or bad protocol, it will verify. Once the verification is done, it will map that particular request form, or it will map that particular URL to the URL. It will map that particular URL, so which is available in the web.xml. It will map to the URL which is available in the web.xml. The URL is mapping, it will map to the servlet name. It will check the servlet name. The servlet name is okay mapping, and it will go to the servlet classes, that bytecode servlet class. This servlet class, with the help of this particular servlet class only, we are doing the execution. Once what your web container is doing here, once the servlet class is mapped, we are taking this particular servlet class and we are loading that particular servlet class into the memory. We are loading that particular servlet class. Before loading, you have to check whether the servlet class is available or not. Okay, if the servlet class is not available, so what we are doing, we are loading that particular servlet class into the memory. Once the servlet class loading is done, now you have to create one instantiation, servlet instantiation. In this particular servlet instantiation, we are using the doPost method, doGet method, doDelete method. All methods are available. Okay, so once the servlet instantiation is created, now what you have to do? Now you have to initialize your server. Initialize your servlet initialization. In the particular servlet initialization, so what we are doing here is we are initializing this particular servlet with the help of the servlet config object. Once the servlet configuration is done, so we are starting the execution of that particular servlet. For that, what we are doing, we are calling the one more init method. We are calling the one more init method. With the help of this particular one more init method, so we are starting the execution of that particular servlet with the help of the service method. After that, what we are doing here, we are calling the service method. In this particular service method, we are having the request object and response object. So here, so once the service method is activated, that related thread will be created in your instantiation. in instantiation method, the related thread will be created. Once a thread is created there, once your request is request is processed, after that what we are doing now, we have to create some response, right? For response, your thread will start the execution. Thread is created, here request is processing. Once the request processing is done, your thread will start the execution, and once the execution is done, your response will be created here. Your response will be created. Once the response creation is done, that response will be forwarded to the web server. That response will be forwarded to the web server. That web server will create one response form. It contains the body tag, body and head information. Okay, a response form is created. The response form will be delivered at the client mission. Once the response is delivered at the client mission, immediately the link between the client and the server will be deleted. After that, your service method will be destroyed. Means what, it is unavailable for the service. Once the service is delivered to the requested client, your service method will be deleted, and your instantiation and initialization, all methods will be destroyed, and your context object also destroyed. Okay, that instructions are getting from the web container only. Web container will pass the instructions. So you have to load the service, you have to destroy the service, you have to unload the service, you have to delete that particular service. All those instructions we are getting from the web container only. Clear? Okay, so this is about the life cycle of servlet. Life cycle of servlet, or we can say this is the flow of execution of the servlet. Okay, this is the flow of execution of the servlet. Okay, so next what we will do here is, now how we are creating the program, how we are creating the servlet program. Okay, how we are creating the servlet program. So for that, what we have to use, the two packages. First one is a servlet javax.servlet. javax.servlet package. Second one is the javax.servlet.http package. So now we'll see the servlets API. So servlets API is nothing but servlet API for implementing our servlet. So what we have to do, we have to use a servlet.star package and javax.servlet.http.package. We have to use these two packages. So we have to use these two packages, or we have to import these two packages in our program. Then only we can implement the servlet programs. Okay, so in the servlet program, first we'll see what are the classes are available in our in these two packages. Okay, so this is the interface. Servlet is an interface. In this particular servlet, we are having the destroy method. Okay, so already we seen the destroy method. Once the service is delivered at the client mission, so what we are doing, we are deleting the all methods, right? So we are saying that is called the destroy method. With the help of the destroy method, we are destroying all those services. After that, get servlet config. This is for we are configuring the servlet. We are using the servlet config. If you want to get the servlet information from the header, so for that we are using the servlet information method. After that, we are having the init method is there. For initializing that particular servlet, we are using the init method. After that, service method is there. For providing the service, we are using the service method. For providing the service, we are using service method. And here we are having the two different types of servlets are there. So first one is a generic servlet and second one is a HTTP servlet is there. Okay, in this particular generic servlet, so what we are having the destroy method, we are having the initialization method, and we are having the service method is there. Okay, so here whatever the request you are getting from the client mission, each and every time you are getting the request from the client mission, right, those requests and responses will be overridden here in this particular service method. Clear? We are overriding overriding the all request and response in this particular service method. Means what? Here we are overriding this particular service method. And one more thing here is this generic servlet is an independent. It will not depend on the protocol. So for communicating, we are using some protocol, right? So server is there, client is there. If you want to communicate with the client and the server, so what we are doing, we are creating a one virtual connection between the client and the server, right? So for that we are using some protocols, right? It is a protocol independent. If you are using this particular servlet, generic servlet, it is a protocol independent. If you are using the HTTP servlet, so that this particular protocol, this particular servlet will work only on the HTTP protocol. This particular servlet will work only on the HTTP protocol only. But our generic servlet is a protocol independent. Okay, this particular servlet will work only on the HTTP protocol only. And here what we are doing, we are having the different types of service methods are there. Okay, service methods are there. Here we are not overriding the service method. Here we are not overriding the service method. So here we are giving the response back to the client mission with the help of the do get method. Do post method is there, and do delete method also is there. Do delete method. So we are having the do delete method also is there. Do delete method, or some other methods also available here. So many methods are there. So we are having the different kinds of methods are available here. But here we are not particular servlet interface. We are using particular servlet interface. So we are using the destroy method. We are using the servlet config method, and we are using the servlet information method, and we are using the init method, and we are using the service method, and all these methods we are using in this particular generic servlet, and also we are using in a HTTP servlet also. Okay, the only one difference between this generic servlet and the HTTP servlet is this particular HTTP servlet will work only on the HTTP protocol. Means what? This particular HTTP servlet is a